busy.
There was a time when Lionel Messi was not the player the world knows today. He was a small, quiet boy from Rosario, Argentina, with a dream that seemed far bigger than his body. Messi was born on June 24, 1987, into a family where football was already a part of everyday life. From a very young age, he showed an unusual connection with the ball. But behind the talent was a problem that could have changed everything. When Messi was around 10 years old, doctors discovered that he had a growth hormone deficiency. His treatment was expensive, and for his family, paying those medical bills was a serious challenge. For a young boy who simply wanted to play football, this was a frightening reality. But Messi kept playing. He trained, he competed, and he continued to dream. His talent eventually attracted attention beyond Argentina. Barcelona saw something special in the young Argentine and offered him an opportunity to join their famous academy, La Masia. But accepting that opportunity meant leaving Argentina. Messi was still a child when he moved to Spain with his family. Suddenly, he was far away from his home, his friends, and the environment he had always known. Everything was different. But when Messi stepped onto the football pitch, none of that seemed to matter. At La Masia, his small frame became less important because his football intelligence was extraordinary. He could control the ball in tight spaces. He could change direction instantly. He could see passes that other players could not see. And most importantly, he seemed to understand the game several seconds before everyone else. But Barcelona was not simply going to hand him a place in the first team. Messi had to earn it. He continued developing through the academy, facing players who were bigger and stronger than him. Yet every challenge pushed him further. Then, in 2004, everything changed. At just 17 years old, Lionel Messi made his official first-team debut for Barcelona. The little boy from Rosario had finally reached the biggest stage. But this was only the beginning. Messi was no longer fighting just to become a professional footballer. Now he had a much bigger challenge. He had to prove that he belonged among the best. And over the next few years, the football world would discover that Barcelona had not simply found a talented youngster. They had found something extraordinary. Something that would eventually change football forever. Messi's rise at Barcelona was almost impossible to ignore. The teenager who had once been considered physically too small was now becoming one of the most dangerous players on the pitch. His game continued to evolve. His dribbling became sharper. His passing became more intelligent. His finishing became more consistent. And his ability to control the rhythm of a game made him different from almost everyone else. Soon, Messi was no longer simply Barcelona's young star. He was becoming the face of the club. Trophies followed, records followed. And eventually, comparisons with football legends became unavoidable. But while Messi was experiencing extraordinary success with Barcelona, his story with Argentina was becoming much more complicated. For his country, expectations were enormous. Argentina had a legendary football history, and Messi was expected to carry that legacy forward. But international football brought a different kind of pressure. Messi reached major finals with Argentina, yet the trophies kept slipping away. In 2014, Argentina reached the World Cup final. For Messi, it was the biggest opportunity of his international career, but Argentina lost to Germany. The disappointment was enormous. Then came another painful chapter. Argentina lost the Copa America final in 2015. A year later, they lost again. For Messi, the criticism became relentless. Some questioned whether he could truly be considered one of Argentina's greatest players without winning a major international trophy. The pressure eventually became too much. After the 2016 Copa America final, Messi announced that he was retiring from international football. For a moment, It looked like the dream of winning something with Argentina was over. But Messi changed his mind. He returned to the national team, and that decision would become one of the most important moments of his career. In 2021, Argentina finally won the Copa America. Messi lifted a major international trophy with his country for the first time. The criticism began to fade. But there was still one trophy missing, the biggest one of them all, the FIFA World Cup. And in 2022, Messi arrived in Qatar knowing that this could be his final opportunity. But the tournament began with a disaster. Argentina lost its opening match to Saudi Arabia. Suddenly, the team was under enormous pressure. One more mistake could have ended the dream. But Messi refused to let the story end there. Argentina recovered. They moved forward. And with every match, Messi looked more determined. The boy who had spent years hearing that he could not win with Argentina was now getting closer to the one trophy that had always escaped him. The final chapter was about to begin. Argentina reached the 2022 World Cup final. Standing between Messi and history was France. For Messi, this was more than another football match. It was the culmination of years of pressure, criticism, disappointment, and sacrifice. Argentina took control early, then France fought back. The game kept changing. Neither side was willing to surrender. Eventually, the World Cup final went to penalties. For Messi, everything had come down to this moment. The boy from Rosario, the player who had lost international finals, the captain who had carried Argentina through years of criticism. Now he had one final chance. Messi stepped forward and scored his penalty. Argentina eventually won. Lionel Messi was a World Cup champion. The trophy that had escaped him for so many years was finally in his hands. But the most powerful part of Messi's story is not the trophy. It is everything that came before it. A child who needed medical treatment just to continue growing. A family facing financial pressure. A young boy leaving Argentina to chase an uncertain dream. A teenager trying to survive in a new country. A player constantly compared with legends. And a superstar who kept returning after international heartbreak. Messi was never the biggest player on the pitch. He was never the strongest. But he had something that could not be measured: persistence. When people questioned his body, he trusted his ability. When he lost, he returned. When the pressure became unbearable, he continued. And when the World Cup seemed impossible, he kept chasing it. That is what makes Lionel Messi's journey bigger than football. His story is not about being born perfect. It is about overcoming the things that were supposed to stop you. From Rosario to Barcelona. From a young boy with a medical challenge to one of the greatest footballers in history. From international heartbreak to World Cup glory. Messi's journey proves that greatness is not always about having the perfect beginning. Sometimes, greatness comes from refusing to give up when everything tells you to stop. The world saw a small boy, Messi saw a dream. The world saw obstacles, Messi kept moving, and after decades of football, one truth remains. Lionel Messi did not become a legend because his journey was easy. He became a legend because every time the road became difficult, he continued walking. Lionel Messi did not become a legend because his journey was easy. He became a legend because every time the road became difficult, he continued walking. And if you enjoyed this untold story of Lionel Messi, subscribe to the channel for more powerful football stories, untold journeys, and documentaries. Because sometimes, the greatest stories in football are the ones you never heard before.